The role of an AWPer has always been the most impactful role over the entire history of CSGO. I could list plenty of incredible AWPers over the years and also many in the current CS scene. But what are these players actually responsible for exactly? Well, first of all, the AWPer in any team needs to have an incredible amount of impact in whatever they're doing. This can be in terms of entry kills or locking down an area of the map, for example. You always see AWPers with different styles in every team. This doesn't make one better than the other, okay? They all have benefits depending on the team that they play around, because each AWPer will obviously want to play differently depending how their teammates also play. Let's first talk about the passive and more supportive style of AWPer. This will be a player who is setting up in positions in order to take control of the map and also lock something down. This type of AWPer will not really be looking for entry picks at all with this weapon. Instead, they'll just be helping their riflers set up and almost watch over them and protect them like a guardian angel would. Then you also have other types of the far end of the spectrum in an aggressive AWPer. These AWPers are usually known as the best AWPers in the world due to just the incredible skill and impact they have each game. The aggressive AWPer will be more responsible for looking for entry kills to bring rounds into a 4v5 early on and create space for their team as a whole. This can be done through going for aggressive plays at all times of the round, however, this mostly happens at the beginning of rounds. Then there's also a third style of AWPer which isn't really looked at too much, but this is more of a middle ground between both of them. I would more call this just a standard of an average AWPing, I guess you could say, and these type of AWPers can be very passive and supportive, but also at the same time do aggressive plays if they need to. However, all of these different styles of AWPers always have something in common. All of these styles of AWPers are always responsible for either controlling or locking down an area of the map. A great example I can give you for this is Banana on Inferno. If you take this control early with a few players, then you can essentially just leave your AWPer top Banana in this area of the map to hold it down completely. This will take an incredible amount of pressure off of your team, allowing for you to rotate 4 towards A. If I would place some of these AWPers that we all know and love into these 3 categories, then I think it would look something like this. From my opinion, if you're looking to be more of a pugger type of player, then I would much rather you play a more aggressive style of AWPing, or even in the middle if you really want to, but this aggressive playstyle of pugging would really pay off the most. The only time I would really recommend this more supportive and passive style of AWPing is if there is a team built in a way that allows for it to work. As in a pug scenario and environment, you really won't be able to get away with this. The first example of one of these playstyles that we'll be looking at will be the aggressive style of AWPing. For this, we'll be watching 2 clips from Shiro from Gambit. In this first clip, Shiro is going for the Palace peak by jumping into default and then going towards Palace. From this position, it's simply a patience game from both the side of Electronic and Shiro. Electronic is trying to wait out Shiro, and then also Shiro is trying to wait out Electronic and try bait him to come in. The patience plays off for Shiro and he is able to get the opening kill, resulting in an early 4v5 for the side of Gambit. After this, you can see almost immediately he is going straight away back and playing it safe. As Gambit now has the 4v5 and the entry that they needed, they can now play it safe and use their number advantage to the best of their ability. But the second example I'll give you guys for this aggressive AWPing playstyle is when Shiro has a mid-spawn and Mirage. As he knows he has a timing and can jump out of the window towards bottom connector without being spotted, he does so. Even though Na'Vi are on a full eco this round and the pathing is the same that Shiro would take on a buy round or if not. As he doesn't get any contact top mid, he quickly goes to check underpass and gets an entry in this position. As you can see, he does go for another peek back on underpass, being a little bit more aggressive once again. However, he does this because he knows his teammates are around him to help him out if he needs it. We will now be moving on to a more in between both the aggressive and passive styles of AWPing. This is where we will start to see AWPers who can do any of these very well. Cadian is a great example for this, as he has shown multiple times that he can be aggressive when he needs to be, but also very passive at the same time and more supportive as well. In this round, we will first see Cadian throw a Molotov outside to help relieve a little bit of pressure early in this area of the map before heading over towards ramp to hold down this area. As his team is starting to communicate, he has received some sort of information that either one or more Na'Vi players has gotten down into secret. This is why the Cadian reacts in this specific way to go check this area out or going back towards ramp. As you can see in the situation of the round, there isn't a lot of time left, and Cadian already knows that there is a lot of pressure on Na'Vi to get this bomb down in time. That is why Cadian goes for this spontaneous aggressive play, jumping towards dark to try just cause as much chaos as possible and delay Na'Vi as long as he can. Here we'll see the example of the other side of, I guess, the in-between style of AWPer, I guess you could say, in the way that they can also play very passive when needed. As you can see in this clip, Na'Vi have taken outside control quite aggressively actually, and Cadian feels a lot of pressure. This is why he is pushed back towards a more safe and passive position towards CT spawn, as he isn't really wanting to risk to get caught out at all. If we were to look at more of an aggressive AWPer in this exact situation, maybe Shiro or Simple for example, then you could possibly see them doing something more flashy, like possibly pushing through gaps or even trying to find areas around the smokes. But in this situation, Cadian doesn't do that. He falls back and plays it more passive and supportive. This is what makes a great AWPer, I think, is they can do both either aggressive and also passive AWPing. And finally, guys, we'll be getting into the passive and more supportive style of AWPing. And I can't think of any better player that we could possibly look at apart from the man himself, James. He has one of the lowest deaths per round currently in Pro CS, with also displaying this ability to not be greedy and always play the advantages that his team have. In this clip we're going to be watching, he'll be towards ramp on Vertigo, and as you can see, he is playing off of his riflers a lot, making sure that they are okay in their positions and aren't under any pressure in their current situation. He does this by things like re-smoking ramp for them, or even just being a presence there as a whole. As you can see though, Gambit do go towards B at the end of the round, and then after James quickly realizes that there isn't any possible way for them to win a 2v3 retake, he does what you'll know him for is James time, allowing for him to keep his AWP into the next round and have a crack with this weapon. This has been a complete guide for the AWPing role in CSGO. I hope after I've talked about the 3 styles of AWPing that this gives you a lot more of a clear and better understanding of yourself, of what you can do differently to improve on your gameplay. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been Glaze, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.
If you play CSGO, you gotta try GGPREDICT.io. It's a training platform to analyze and better understand how you play and what mistakes you make during your Counter-Strike matches. Then, effectively train those aspects that need improvement. You can use it to improve literally every aspect of your game: team play, nades, pace of your game, or your aim. It not only analyzes your game in so many aspects, but also lets you train on the platform thanks to personalized training plans. How? GGPREDICT's AI knows exactly what you need to do to become a better player. Each week, you automatically get tailor-made trainings made by the best CSGO athletes who work with GGPREDICT. It's easy and fun, and you can train right on GGP servers and get all the data from your trainings analyzed. Simply connect your Steam, Faceit, or eSportal account and get your matches instantly analyzed by GGPREDICT. We almost forgot, if you're playing just for fun, that's great too. You'll love our social features, which allow you to compare with your friends and finally check who really is carrying the team.